What if I told you that the life that you're living right now started off as a seed, a thought, a pattern, a learned belief that you implanted in your mind and manifests itself into your reality? You change your seed, you change your life. Let's talk about it. Okay, so we are going to start off this conversation with a few scripture references. Our first scripture will be Proverbs 23:7. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Our second scripture reference will be Galatians 6:7. Be not deceived, God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. One of the spiritual truths of these scriptures is that whatever is in your heart, you will reap. If you are angry, if you are bitter, if you are sad, if you are depressed, if you are happy, if you are joyful, that will manifest itself in your life. So don't be deceived by words. Don't be deceived by actions. Your heart will tell everything, because what is inside your heart, you will manifest. You will see in your current reality. I have a couple of examples of this. We all know this type of person. They want healing, but they always speak in sickness. They want abundance, but they always saying that they're broke. They want prosperity, but they're always saying that I am lacking in some type of way. So in other words, what does your heart say? What does your heart believe? Another example is planting a seed. Now imagine if you decide that, hey, I want to have apple trees in my yard. So you go to the store, you buy apple seeds, you plant it, you wait for your harvest, and then apples show up. But imagine if you plant a seed and you wait for your harvest and pears show up or bananas show up. That means somewhere in this process you planted the wrong seeds, because you cannot plant a apple seed and harvest pears. You can't plant a apple seed and harvest bananas. You can only harvest what you plant. Let's imagine our thoughts, our beliefs, the things that we know to be true are the seeds, and our heart is the ground. And the harvest is the manifestation of those seeds in our lives, which means that whatever we think, like the scripture says, do not be deceived. God is not mocked. For whatever a man soweth, that he shall also reap. Which means that our thoughts, our beliefs, the things that we know to be true, are the seeds. Our heart is the ground, and a manifestation of that is our life, our reality, what we see. So what shapes or determines what type of seeds that we plant? Our seeds can be influenced by family, traditions, religion, experiences, and even society. Let me give you a personal example in my own life. When I was young, my father had came into a lump sum of money, and he told me and my siblings to go to the store and pick out a special treat. Not a need, not clothes, not shoes or something that we needed, but a want, a special gift. So at the store, I picked out this glass head. And with this glass head, if you touch the glass, around the head, little lights or electrodes kind of followed your finger. I'm not too sure what that's called now, but back then that was a miracle and I loved it. And so when I touched the glass head and the little electrical lights and colorful lights followed my fingers, I was in amazement and I felt real good about that purchase and I loved my gift. And so I brought my gift home. And so when we got home, I had a relative came to me and say, "Why did you buy this? Why did you waste money on that?" And I said, "Daddy told me to get a special gift, something that we wanted, and this is what I wanted." They proceeded to tell me that I was wasting money. How dare you waste money on something stupid like that? So I felt real guilty about that gift. And I knew that I had wasted money, even though I was told to get a special treat. After that experience, a seed was definitely planted. So in my teenage years, my 20s, 30s, and even in my 40s, I always thought in my heart that I should not want more. I should not want abundance. Be happy with what you have. Because if you're not happy with what you have, that means that you are not thankful and you are not grateful. That desire to be successful, to be abundant, to be prosperous always made me feel guilty. And the thing is that I didn't realize why. I always thought that it was just the luck of the cards. I tried different businesses. I've tried different home-based ventures and things like that, but they were never successful. And so after I turned 40, I had to sit back and realize, what is it that I'm planting? What are the seeds that I am sowing? And so that experience, that incident that happened when I was young and I was made to feel guilty about a purchase is where that seed was planted. That is when I realized that I was thinking the wrong thoughts and beliefs all that time, but I just didn't realize it. If you are experiencing any type of negative things in your life, any type of negative situations, let's use financial insecurity. If you are experiencing any type of financial insecurity in your life, check the seeds. Look back into your past. Is there any type of negative thoughts that you have or beliefs that you are holding on to about being prosperous, about having money, about being wealthy and secure? Look back and see, are there any negative seeds that has been planted sometime in your life? Are you suffering with low self-esteem? Maybe you feel like you're not worthy. Maybe you feel like you're not attractive, you're not beautiful, like your words don't matter. Somewhere in your past, that seed was planted. Whether a negative word at school, maybe you were bullied, maybe even by a family member or abused. But look back and see exactly where that seed was planted. Recognize it. If you want to know what type of seeds, what type of thoughts, what type of beliefs that you have planted, just check your reality, check your life. Look around, see how things are. That will give you just a little example or a little test of what type of seeds that you have planted. Let's go back to this apple tree example. Now imagine that you plant your apple seeds and you check the harvest and now it's bananas. What is the point of getting mad at the tree? What is the point of getting mad at the bananas? Get mad at the seed. Get mad at what was planted. Because there is no point in saying, oh, how dare this tree give me bananas and I wanted apples whenever you planted a banana tree. So in other words, go to the root. Do not get mad at the fruit. Get mad at the seed. Do not focus on the fruit, focus on the seed. The only way you can change your life, the only way you can change the fruit that is being harvested from your tree is going to the root, going to the seed, nipping it in the bud. Once you go to that seed, once you go to that root and change that, that is how you change your life. That is how you manifest a different harvest. That is how you manifest a different reality. So the question you should be asking yourself now is, how do I get new seeds? How do I get new thoughts? How do I get new beliefs? That comes from renewing your mind. Let's reference Romans 12:2. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. The next step to new seeds is mind renewal. So how do we renew our mind? Well, we simply renew our mind by aligning and agreeing and knowing and believing in God's spiritual truths. So if a negative thought comes in your mind that says, I am weak, just know that God says you are strong. Or if a thought comes in your mind that says, I am poor, just know that God says you are prosperous and abundant. Or if a thought comes into your mind that says, I am sick, just know that God says that I am healed. You are healed. Speak it, feel it, know it, and believe it. Activate your faith. Speak life into every area of your life. Renounce and denounce any and every negative thought and limiting belief. If you can, Think back over your life and recognize where those thoughts originated from. Once you recognize them, dig them up, plant positive seeds, and watch a new harvest manifest itself in your life. Align your thoughts and belief with God's spiritual truths. Have patience with yourself. The day you plant a seed is not the day you reap the harvest. Water your positive seeds with faith and love, and manifest the life you always prayed for. Renew your mind.